Hello friends, and welcome back to Meshi TV. Welcome to another video. Thank you so much for coming by. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about that little pause that I just took with regards to planning and planners, and I really wanted to take a moment to just offer you a different perspective on the whole Erin Condren fiasco that has taken the internet by storm. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then stay tuned and let's just, I wanted to give you a perspective on not only what my take is, but also give you some suggestions of how we can actually move forward and reconnect back to what's truly important. But on a macro level, what this entire incident has absolutely highlighted for all of us that we can kind of learn from. So if you're interested, why don't we just dive right in? By the way, if you are new here and you enjoy videos such as this one, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss another video, because we talk a few times a week here and we chat about spiritual practices, we talk about planning and mindful living and how you can be more empowered in all of that and just really create a more empowered wellness journey along the way. So if that sounds good, I think you're going to love it here. All right, so I've already made this video once, but I've decided not to release it because I found that it was just I wasn't portraying the right message the way that I wanted to portray it, so I decided to remake this. And I'm not here necessarily to talk to you about exactly what happened with Erin Condren. I'm here to talk to you about what we can actually learn from this. But if you have no idea, basically, Erin Condren had not the planner company, but Erin Condren, the founder of the planner company, has celebrated the graduation of her children, and that this was outside of the actual ceremony that the school has already thrown. And so they have decided to create a march along being inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, where they were also marching, and but they were marching because they wanted to celebrate the graduation for their children. And so they gathered all the kids within the graduating class, and they kind of threw down some hula hoops so that they would create some distance amongst the children. The kids were not wearing masks, so there were like a ton of them together, and then they put down the hula hoops so that they have distance amongst them, which was also not really respected. And then they made a comment saying that, if the authorities come, then we can kind of get away with it because we're actually just here exercising, we're not actually marching. So it was just an ignorant thing to do on all angles. But like now you're caught up on, and then on top of that, there was a local newspaper that has written an article about Erin, highlighting her almost like as a hero because she is sort of changing the culture of how, we're sort of like making the best of like a worse situation during a global pandemic. So now you're somewhat caught up, but you're welcome to do more research on exactly what happened, who said what. I don't think it's really necessary. You kind of got the key points. And also, like, so after this has taken place, a lot of people have been obviously very upset with her, and so she decided that she's going to take a leave of absence from the company, and she's going to start incorporating and getting more educated on how they can be more, inclusive, and how they can not exercise white privilege. And so that's sort of where we're at today. So that brings us to today, and most of the content creators have decided not to continue on working with her or with the brand. So not to continue working with her or with the brand, just based on how inconsiderate her actions have been and how damaging this has been overall for the company and also for Erin. Okay, so much to unpack, and I'm going to try to keep it relatively brief and without getting emotionally caught up. So my my attempt will be in this video to sort of show you both sides of the coin without actually taking sides, because we need to learn to do that. So this is going to be my absolute attempt. Hopefully you can tell me in the comments if I've succeeded in that, but this is the intention for this video, is to show you both sides of the coin without taking sides and without really getting caught up in the polarity of it all. So let's look at both sides here. On one hand, Erin wanted to celebrate her kids' graduation, and she thought that it would be a great idea to go above and beyond what the school was able to provide, because it was a big milestone for her children. So I get that, and I think that there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. You're welcome to celebrate it in your own house, and you're welcome to celebrate it, you know, whenever like the opportunity presents itself. I also think that she wanted to do a good thing and to sort of make light of a really hard situation without actually breaking her children's heart. And so I like the idea. I think that that's wonderful that her children are trying to be more involved in the community and, you know, really get behind the Black Lives Matter movement and really learn and understand in what ways can we contribute socially, especially how can she use her skin color, like how can she use her white privilege so that she's actually moving in the direction of change rather than being part of the problem. So I think all of that inspired action is wonderful. However, so you doing a march at the same time when there's a political march when people are dying, it's quite insulting. You being completely ignorant of the fact that, you know, you might have handed kids masks, but they're not wearing them, and nobody's patrolling this entire event, also creates a massive, it just creates a massive risk that was completely unnecessary. You did that because it fulfilled something within you, but you're taking on too much of a risk in order for you to get what you want. So that's where we're going back to white privilege. And also, you getting an article written about you, which, I mean, I get that. You don't have much control over that, so we understand. That to me is sort of like putting more gasoline to the fire, because you're not only doing something ignorant, but you're also being celebrated for it. And I think somebody mentioned both on Instagram and on Facebook that if the roles were reversed and those were 600 Black children, not white kids, and it was a Black influencer versus a white influencer that would have kind of pulled all of that up, those circumstances would have been completely different. And so this is where just understanding that it's not always about you, and you need to learn to step aside. And if you're talking about equality, then you actually need to exercise it. You don't just talk about it, because you can throw up all the beautiful pictures on Instagram in the world, but if you're not consciously understanding how your actions and how many people actually follow your footsteps and how there's like a little bit more weight and responsibility added to that, then you're missing the point. Also, you don't need to step down from the company. You could have easily just said, this is like, you could have easily just made a live video and address the community, address the people that you have insulted, especially the Black community. And you could also move forward and include more Black creators, include more people, include them. Because if you truly want to see, like if you truly want to move forward in a, I mean, I'm not here to tell you how to run your company. Obviously, I have no idea. You know what I mean? But I would love to see more diversity where you're looking at artists and creators and designers, and, you know, they run Etsy shops, and they run, like, there's so many creators that are doing beautiful job at highlighting their culture and their heritage, and they're so deeply ingrained in that it's like that in itself is being celebrated, that you can weave that into a product and into a company that is already great. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think that you need to throw out the baby with the bathwater. On the other, so this is all I wanted to share about that. Now, talking about the people that are attacking her and and especially the people that have been affiliated with her that have completely turned against her. Like, first of all, I completely understand why you're doing that, and in all fairness, it's not my job. Like, I don't believe that, you know, I don't believe that it's up to me or it's my job really to judge, you know, what's going on in your life and what your moral values are and what's okay for you and what's not okay for you. So I'm in no way in a position where I can judge you, and this is absolutely not coming from a place of judgment. However, I would like to point out that if you have been affiliated with a company, so this is more speaking to not so much the community that have been buying Erin Condren products, but the community that have been promoting Erin Condren products. If you have been promoting and working closely together with the team at Erin Condren, and up to this point you have been benefiting from the success of the company, to me there's almost like there's a sense of loyalty, you know, because you have been benefiting from the success, and for you to jump ship as soon as things turn a little bit haywire, to me it's just so sad to see that. It's so sad to see that, because I just see that when things are going great, everybody's happy, and when things are not going great, you're jumping ship and you're canceled. And from a business point of view, yeah, you could totally do that, but it's sort of like, who will want to, how likely are other companies that will want to work with you if you don't have a sense of honor and loyalty to actually work through the kinks? Like, if the values of the, and first of all, I wonder, why is Erin Condren and what she does in her personal life being so deeply attached to what Erin Condren as a company is doing? Because they're two separate things. Within Erin Condren's company, there's so many people that work on this, and she's sort of the face of it, which I understand. But keep in mind, guys, when you buy an Erin Condren planner, you're not buying Erin Condren. You're buying a product that was created by a whole team of people that Erin might have just sort of looked at it and she's sort of promoting it. So for you to completely detach from a product that you have bought and you loved and you've used up to this point and you have promoted and financially benefited from, to me, it's just so sad that one is attached to the other directly in your mind. And I mean, like I said, you can have your own opinions. You can, you know, if you choose to do that, that's perfectly fine. But my take on this is that, to me, it's just really sad that there is a lack of loyalty. And it's also sad that, especially when you're a person of color and you have been working with the company up to this point and have benefited, and you jump ship, and this is about race and this is about color, and you could have such an opportunity to teach them about culture and at least guide them and have a voice when they are trying to navigate through chaos. That, to me, that's just like, you could have helped, right? You could have helped. Like, that's sort of like me working with a company who is trying to understand Hungarian culture, and I'm Hungarian, and as soon as they're trying to understand it, I jump ship. Like, I'm from there. What are you talking about? So anyway, so that's my rant on that. And then the other thing is that, like, you guys, I understand that you're upset, but keep in mind, Erin Condren threw a party. That's why we're upset right now. She threw a party. She's not the same person that you're condemning. Like, don't throw that person into the same category as someone who has killed George Floyd. You know what I mean? It would be nice if we would be able to decipher between the two, because one is on one end of the spectrum and then the other one is on the other end of the spectrum. And yeah, you might not agree with either one, but at the same time, like, you shouldn't, it's sort of like you're basically asking someone for like a public execution whose crime was, like, you know, like stealing a pocket knife. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to minimize what she did. I absolutely agree that, you know, what she did was super ignorant, but I just don't think that being super ignorant needs to be condemned to same space as someone who's out there hunting Black people. Do you know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, just use your discernment at least a little bit. And I understand that you're hurt and this is just adding more fuel to the fire. Like, I totally get that. But if you have Erin Condren planners, guys, use them. Use them because you already bought it. Like, why are you throwing out this stuff? Like, why do you feel like you need to be disrespectful to the things that you have already purchased? You work very hard for your money. For you to be that disrespectful to it because somebody has upset you, like, we need to learn at least a little bit to have a little bit more tolerance. And not only tolerance, and maybe you don't have the ability to learn tolerance, and I get that, but where's your humanity, and where is your kindness, and where's forgiveness? How do you learn to move forward if you're incapable? And by the way, these are all the hate comments. This is the irony. Most of the hate comments were actually not coming from the Black community. They were coming from other white people. And most of them were actually affiliated with Erin Condren. So if you're condemning someone so deeply, I just wonder, how much healing has those products actually provided you with, and why do you feel like you're being so triggered right now? Because at the end of the day, I think ultimately this whole situation has highlighted one massive social issue, and the massive social issue is beyond white privilege. Is simply the fact that we are placing all of these people on pedestals. We're placing people like Tony Robbins, pop stars, actors, influencers on this massive pedestal, and then as soon as they fall, because they're of course human and they make a mistake, we condemn them. And not only that, but as soon as someone makes a mistake, you're throwing them into the same bucket as someone who is basically should not even be allowed in being part of society. Like, don't throw people from making a mistake. Like, if somebody makes a mistake by posting a wrong, Instagram photo, are you going to condemn that person the same way as someone who is being a pedophile? I hope not. Like, I hope that you're not that polarized, right? Like, at some point, guys, you need to kind of look at, okay, what did they do and how much did that actually impact me? And can I move forward with my life? Because if you're that polarized that somebody makes a comment on like Instagram or Facebook, or somebody says something that you don't agree with, and then right away you feel like you need to wipe everything out from your life so that you feel safe and secure, we really need to talk. So my point is that I think that this should be an invitation for both parties, actually, both the haters and Erin Condren. For Erin Condren, she has a massive opportunity for her to really collect people that will have loyalty, and they will stand with them and want to work with them even when they make a small mistake. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that they will, not only that, but I hope that they will learn and integrate policies within the company where it creates a culture of inclusion, where it creates a culture of knowing sort of the difference between white privilege and knowing the difference when you're actually suppressing or insulting others just so that you can get what you want. I hope that they learn from that and move through that, because their products are providing, and their company is providing, so much more than just a daytime planner. You're allowing people to not only express creativity, but also to manage deep anxiety and illnesses. And if you don't see how deep and far and wide your reach goes, I'm happy to remind you. And also, the people that have bought new Erin Condren planners, for the love of God, use your stuff, guys. Like, just because the influencers switch, that's essentially their job. Their job is to influence. Their job is to, if they're running, a YouTube channel, or if they're running an Instagram account, where that's how they make a they get compensated for promoting certain products. They're going to promote what is being popular right now. So to them, this becomes an expense, a business expense. But for you and me that use this as a tool every single day, am I going to be buying planners every week or every month? No. We have other stuff to do. Come on, guys. We have stuff to manifest. We have our vibration to raise. We have stuff to do. We don't have time for this. And even if you did have time for this and you're feeling that polarized, I invite you to and challenge you to just start looking at it from another perspective. Ultimately, I think that this highlights really the culture that we have created when we're placing all of these people on these massive pedestals, and as soon as they make a mistake, then we condemn them, and then we move on, and then we're looking for the next semi-god to worship, instead of looking at all of these different things around us as just what they are. Erin Condren is a person who has 4 children and runs a planner company, and you love their products and you use the planner because it helps you or get organized. Fantastic. You like Justin Bieber because he makes great music. Are you gonna have him over for a barbecue? Probably not. All right, moving on. Like, you have to kind of look at all of these things around you. Sometimes a book is just a book. Sometimes a tarot deck is just that. It's a tarot deck. It's helping you for what it's helping you with. But my point is that when you're placing all of these different things above you, you're giving them more power. And then what I'm inviting you to do is, especially if you were in like an Instagram commenting war over this, I'm inviting you to look a little bit deeper within and see sort of what came up for you and why you felt so highly triggered. Because if you look deep within, then you will likely realize that there's something that didn't sit right, which is why you felt so divided. And then those of you that are sort of just sitting there like, I don't know what just happened. Should we still use our planner? Do I need to like fork out another $150 and buy more planners? Please stop buying more planners, ladies. I mean, buy a planner if that's what you feel like you need to do, but don't buy a planner because you're mad at Erin Condren. That's not going to solve anything. Although, if you haven't unwrapped your stuff, likely you will probably be able to return it anyway. But my point is that let this be your own decision based on what is right for you. Don't let this be a decision because you got caught up in a conversation war with someone who you don't even know. You know what I mean? Who are they? Live in Pennsylvania. Fantastic. I know nothing about you. You know what I mean? Don't let outside sources really define and tell you who you are, what you should like, what you should not like. And ultimately, I would just invite you to see why you're so resistant to actually forgive yourself and to move on. So my hope is that people will wake up to the reality that everything works in duality, unfortunately, at this point. And the more we can find a common medium, that happy neutral medium where neither parties are right, because when you're this person's right, that person's right, and when you get into this righteousness, then it creates a ton of division amongst people. And the more we can actually unite together, I'm just here to invite you to just reconnect why you loved planning in the first place. If you choose not to buy Erin Condren planners, totally cool. It's not going to affect my life directly. I'm telling you that much right now. I'm just inviting you to just have a different perspective and not be so polarized, because that in itself, when you're feeling that judgmental and you're feeling that much pain and you're feeling that much, you know, hate, then that in itself has an energetic signature that will really just suck the living energy out of you. Look at why you bought the planners in the first place. See if you can use it still. If you're choosing to get a different one, not a big deal, but just you choose. Ultimately, it comes back to your choice, not someone else's. So don't give the power to other people to choose for you. And outside sources and outside sources, really, that's the best way of putting it. This is all I wanted to share with you guys. You will see a new plan with me because I did buy the new planner actually for that's starting in July, and July is in like 2 days. So you will see a plan with me from me where we're going to just kind of move out of my old planner, move into the new planner, and kind of just move on, because I guarantee you that within like a month, you're gonna be upset about something else. So I just invite you to just take care of yourself, take care of your intellect, your emotional and mental mental health. Please, if you want, look around in my channel. I do have a couple of breathwork videos that I think will absolutely help you. I do have a couple of yoga practices. I will be posting more yoga videos for you guys that I think will absolutely help you integrate. So if you're finding that you got highly triggered and you're emotionally and mentally just super drained, I invite you to just let that be your invitation to look within of what's out of balance, rather than for you to be so caught up in drama that really at the end of the day does not make that massive of a difference in your life right now. And if it does, and you've been hurt by this and you're sort of unsure how to move forward, I invite you to just look within and see why you're resisting forgiveness. And you're not forgiving Erin Condren, you're not forgiving the planner community, you're actually forgiving yourself, and you're releasing that tie that you have to that current situation. I hope you're finding this helpful. Please let me know in the comments how you are feeling about your Erin Condren planner. If you are deciding to continue to use it, or you bought a new brand, I would love to hear from you, because ultimately it kind of doesn't matter which one you're using as long as you still continue to plan and to express your creativity. Remember, you guys, you're just so much more powerful than you think. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye!